The transition from being single to being in a relationship, this is a major life change. And your body, your mind, your schedule, your life, everything is going to transform in this process. Everything. Are you someone who believes that love should be more than swiping, settling, or merely surviving the dating scene? Welcome to Seeking True Love, a podcast for intuitive, sensitive, romantic, growth-oriented women who are ready for a soul-deep connection. I'm Elizabeth Rave, dating and relationship coach, lifelong romantic, and yes, I have been through a lot of heartbreaks, ups and downs, struggles, and my own personal growth journey to creating my own true love experience. I want to help you do the same. In each episode, I'll be sharing my own insights on how you can cultivate true love, as well as interviewing other experts on the nature of love itself. Because love isn't some fairy tale, and it's not something you just find out there in the world. It's something you become ready for, and it can be yours. This is Seeking True Love.
You're just right for me, and I'm just right for you. And I'll take your heart and squeeze so softly, so sweetly, forever love.
Getting emotionally ready to be in a relationship. You say you want a relationship. My question to you is, do you really, fully, wholeheartedly want a relationship? Let me ask that a different way, because I believe the answer to that question is yes, of course I want a relationship, and I hear that. My real question is, are there any parts of you that are hesitant to get into a relationship? My guess is, yes, there are. And the reason why I'm going to go ahead and guess that is the transition from being single to being in a relationship, this is a major life change. And your body, your mind, your schedule, your life, everything is going to transform in this process. Everything. And if there's anything that you really, really like about your life right now, I'm not saying it's going to go away or you have to give it up. No, I'm sure many of the beautiful things in your life that you have right now, you are going to get to keep, and they're going to change. The amount of time you might have for them might change, or the ways in which you go about them might change. If you really like to travel, you might be traveling with a partner now instead of by yourself, and that might be a wonderful change. And it might bring with it some additional things that you don't have to think about right now. Like you may have to sit down and agree on the destination, and maybe one of you really likes camping and the other one really wants to go in hotels, and you're going to have to figure that out with another person. And when you're single, you don't have to do that. You can just make your own decisions. It's your life. It's your single life. Really let that sink in for a minute, because the first step to finding true love and really having that relationship in your life is preparing yourself emotionally, making space for this transition to happen. It's great that you're happy single. It's not emotionally healthy to be so unhappy that you can't function as a single person. You need to be a whole self who's going to fall in love with another whole human being. True love is based on something like that. You don't want to get into some kind of codependent thing, of course. And there's kind of a sneaky dark side to having so much happiness with your single life that actually there are parts of you that are not going to want to give it up, even for a relationship. And I invite you right now to really sit with this and make a decision for yourself. By the way, I've worked with clients in the past who they hired me as a dating coach and realized, you know what? I'm happy being single. It's my parents that are putting pressure on me to get married. It's society that's putting pressure on me to get married. It's the fact that my friends are all getting married and I'm just feeling left out. I'm feeling like kind of a weird third wheel now because I don't have a plus one to bring to all these events, or social things that are happening in my circle. And it's that pressure that's making me want a partner. But actually, I want to be single. I like being single. I'm not really looking for a romantic partnership. Deep down, I'm not really looking for it. And that would happen sometimes when I've coached clients. Are you ready for a relationship? Because again, many people think that they're ready, but there's this hidden conflict inside where you crave love, connection, companionship. You're wanting that so much, of course. And you're going to have to give up some things. You're going to have to give up having the kind of personal space, the kind of freedom, the kind of independence, predictability in your routine. It's very easy to maintain self-care habits as a single person. This is a conversation that I had with a couples therapist. We had this conversation about how being single, it was easy to stay on top of working out, eating healthy, keeping the house cleaned, getting work done, getting chores done, whatever that is. She said, when you're single, you can stay on top of that. You can maintain a pretty good life balance. And it's, that's not necessarily true for everybody, but it's true for a lot of people. The single person has advantages in this way. And she used this phrase that I love. She said, a relationship will make you wobbly. When you're single, it's like you stack everything. Imagine a child stacking a bunch of blocks. And this is your life. And you've stacked up all these blocks and you've made the perfect tower. And then a partner comes into your life, even the most wonderful partner, the kind of partner you've been waiting for your whole life. And they'll poke at the blocks and you'll see they'll waver, they'll get wobbly. And in some ways you have to tear it down and the two of you have to build something back up together. And this is true in a healthy long-term relationship. And so I invite you now to really sit with this, to really sit with the fact that if you are going to make this happen for yourself, you are about to undergo a major life transformation. If you are going to get into a long-term relationship where you stay committed to each other for the rest of your lives, really truly until death do you part, sit with the fact that this might be the last time in your life that you will ever be single. And I would invite you to take a minute, grieve that. I'm going to ask you some questions about this. My first question to you is simply about scheduling. Are you ready to set aside time in your schedule for a relationship? Is your life so full and so busy that you have time? If you're going around right now thinking, I don't have time for dating. I don't have time for dating. I don't even have time. Dating takes less time than being in a relationship. I would say start with 2 hours a week. Start with 2 hours a week, date night. I used to do this on Friday nights from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I called it Friday night date night. Every Friday night I worked on my dating life. Sometimes I had a date. Some Fridays I did not have a date and I was at home. And there were a few things that I would do at home. Sometimes I would go online or on dating apps looking for people to date, and that's how I would spend that time. Sometimes I would spend time reading books or listening to interviews with experts, dating coaches, things like that, to help learn how to do it better, basically, because I was really struggling for a while and I was attracting the wrong men over and over again. But either way, I set aside that time, and I would encourage you to start setting aside some time now. My second question is, are you ready to shed some old emotional patterns? Are you ready to let go of exes and heartbreaks? You don't have to stop loving or feeling attraction towards your exes. Some people say you do. I don't think that's right. I'm always going to have some love towards the people that I once loved and had that relationship with. You do need to let go of resentments. If you're harboring some kind of, oh, he did this thing and this guy did this and that guy really broke my heart, or maybe it's a generalization like all men are dogs, all men are liars, examine those beliefs. All men are this. My ex did this. I always get this kind of guy. Just beliefs around men. Examine that now and see, are you ready to let that go? My personal experience is that in this world, there are many, many good men. I've met many of them. I've dated many of them. And even in a world where it seems like there's increasing amounts of toxic masculinity, there are good men out there who want relationship and they want to connect with you. They can't do that if you have all these emotional walls up about who men are and what they do and what they don't do. That's repellent to men who are more open-hearted and who are looking for a relationship. They're going to be turned off by a woman who has a hardened heart. So this is what I mean when I say you open your heart, is you let go of these resentments. And then another one that I would invite you to consider is, how ready are you for the emotional vulnerability of a relationship? This is the one that got me recently. I was on my own seeking true love journey, and I kept attracting emotionally unavailable men. Really wonderful men in other ways, but they were just not available for the kind of relationship that I wanted. I had to really open myself up to greater levels of emotional vulnerability. This is something that I realized I was blocking because, for me personally, I identify as a highly sensitive person, and that means that my nervous system tends to get more stimulated than the average person. So a highly sensitive person is the top 20% of nervous system sensitivity in the world. For me to be in a relationship, it's very stimulating to my nervous system in a lot of really wonderful ways and in some overwhelming ways. And I discovered a part of me that was not quite ready for that. And what I did to process that is I made some art, and I also wrote a poem about it. And the last line of the poem says, "There's nothing more vulnerable than falling in love." And I really sat with that for a long time. There's nothing more vulnerable than falling in love. I believe that. It's vulnerable to express fear and anger and sadness, for sure, especially if you're not used to that. I don't think those emotions are nearly as vulnerable as expressing deep desire and love for another person. I think that's really one of the most emotionally vulnerable places you can be, is to fall in love. And in order to allow that into your life, you need to open up, let go of any internal walls, any internal caps you might have to how much emotional intimacy you can experience with another person. You're not going to have a true love experience if you are not willing to go to those really, really emotionally vulnerable places that you just don't have to go when you're single. Like, a single person just does not have to go into some of those deeply emotional places. Even with close friends, close family, kids, certainly they will require certain levels of emotional vulnerability. And there's something about romantic love that I think really pushes it to the next level because of the physical intimacy, because of the sexual intimacy, because of the passion, the nature of this kind of love. It really pushes your vulnerability edges in ways that other types of relationships may not. And because of that, it can be very scary. So I want to acknowledge these things now, that you need to make time in your life, space in your life, space in your heart. Open up. This is a big deal. This is a big transformation. Now, I want to invite you to do a visualization exercise with me. Imagine that you're standing in your kitchen. You're standing at the kitchen counter, and you feel your true love partner, this future true love partner of yours, walk into the room and wrap their arms around you. And you feel so good, and you feel so safe, and you feel so held in their arms. And imagine how good that's going to feel. I just spent a lot of time talking about the things you're going to need to give up. And I want you to get in touch with how good it's going to feel to have someone like that in your life. And notice if any fears now come up when you really imagine, what is it going to be like to have this person in my life? Now go out to a holiday that you normally spend single, some kind of family gathering, but it's a holiday where you've been single in the past. And imagine what those holiday plans are going to look like in the future when you have this relationship. Might be nice to have someone there to come with to the parties and the dinners and the festivities and whatever's involved in that holiday. Also, you might realize, oh, there's going to be some scheduling involved because I always go to my family, but maybe we're going to have to go to their family's house this year or split or whatever. And you might notice a little bit of stress around the holiday planning. And this is what I'm talking about when I say you're going to be giving up certain freedoms of your single life and embracing a different kind of life when you have a relationship. It really is a different lifestyle. So imagine some holiday planning. Imagine some day-to-day planning. What are your weekends going to be like? What are your weeknights going to be like? What are your weekdays going to be like? If you have kids, how is that going to play into this new relationship? Are you going to want to keep them separate? Are you going to want to have them bond together? Really imagine this future. Where does this relationship go in your life? Is there room? How can you make room? How can you make more room? One thing that I would encourage you to do in the reflecting of all this is to have a kind of, I'm going to call it a memorial service, and you can take that however you want. But I would suggest you have some kind of memorial service where you really let go of the old single identity. And no, that doesn't mean someone's going to knock on your door tomorrow. There's more to it than that. But this is really the important first step. Dating is just, it's not going to work very well if you are not ready to make this happen, if you're not ready to make this change. It's kind of amazing how quickly a relationship will progress when you're ready for it. I have experienced this firsthand. I've actually experienced it multiple times. There are times where I've been less ready for a relationship, and it doesn't matter all the dating techniques in the world. I could be employing all of them correctly. I could be doing all the right things. And it's not happening because I'm not really ready for it. If you've heard this podcast and you're like, oh, you know what? I actually really want to be single. Great. Revel in that. Not everybody has to have a relationship. It's not a thing that makes everybody happy. It's not a thing that everybody wants. There are people who they don't want that at all. It's got to really be your true heart's desire. It was my true heart's desire. So I did what I needed to do to figure it out because it wasn't actually that intuitive for me. I made a lot of weird mistakes with men in the past, different ways that I would push men and put pressure on men or be weird and cool and aloof and have all these walls up, just all kinds of really silly games that I was playing for a long time before I realized I could just authentically connect with another human being, and that was enough. And opening up your heart, opening up your life, this is really the first step. I'm going to invite you now to have a memorial service for your single life. That can be as simple or as elaborate as you would like to make it. You could do a whole funeral ceremony if you wanted to, with feasts and eulogies. You could have other people eulogize with you, or you could make this a very private experience. Simply write in your journal, read it out loud, or don't even read it out loud. It's really up to you. You don't have to put a lot of ceremony or pomp and circumstance to make this work. The thing that's going to make this work, the thing that's going to make a difference for you, is that you really take time to actually grieve the single life that you're going to say goodbye to when this relationship happens for you. Grieve it. Feel the loss of it. It is a loss. And make the decision that you are ready to let it go. I was taking a walk this morning. There's a particular garden in my neighborhood that I really love. There's a lot of beautiful flowers in this garden. And about 2 weeks ago, I took a walk over there, and there were these beautiful red and white poppies. They were in full bloom, just really incredible flowers. Today, I walked over there, and now there's just a seed pod and a few wilted petals on the ground, where there used to be this beautiful red poppy. And there's a part of me that felt sad. There's another part of me that really appreciated the wisdom of nature, that things fall away, petals fall away, because the fruit or the seed pod can't grow, can't come to fruition, literal fruition, without the beautiful petals falling away. And I invite you to think of your transformation like this. There are beautiful things in your life right now that are going to need to fall away wilt away and have you really let go of them to make space for this relationship. Don't take this lightly. This could be the only thing you need to do before that ideal partner shows up. That's not always true, by the way. There are sometimes other things involved in the dating process. And for some people, this could be it. This could be it. Have a memorial service. Really say goodbye to your single life and all of its comforts and all of its perks and all of its little sweet freedoms that you have. It's not a small transformation. It's not a thing you're going to pencil into an already busy life. Like, yeah, here I'm going to go on a date and one day I'll find a guy, but I'm just so busy. I'm just so busy with everything. It's never going to happen for you if that's where you're at. It's just not going to happen. That's not how it happens. It happens when you open up space inside of yourself and inside of your life. That's going to require big change. At the very least, it's going to require a schedule change. It's probably going to require deep emotional transformation as well. So really sit with that. If you'd like some support on your journey, I would invite you to book a discovery call with me. We can explore some options on ways that I can support you. If you're thinking you want some support and for whatever reason, I'm not quite resonating with you, get a coach. It can be me. It can be someone else. I can't emphasize enough how much my life is so different and improved now, especially in this area of dating and relationships, because of the coaches that I've worked with. And that's why I'm doing this work now, because I know what that is to struggle and I know what that is to have a transformation. This is a big deal. This transformation from single into partnership, that's a big deal. And if you want it and you're ready for it, it's yours. It's yours. If you're curious about one-on-one coaching, click the Calendly link in the show notes to book a free 1-hour discovery call with me. No high-pressure sales. This is a chat to see if we might be a good fit. Either way, this is where it starts. It starts with opening up your heart and really preparing yourself for this magnitude of transformation. Because your love story should be extraordinary.